This one goes out to Brother Blue. A god, a goddess, a parallel consciousness entity, and a storyteller walked into a bar. Now, this particular bar existed in time, but not in space. So instead of getting a beer, you got the amount of time it took you to drink a beer. Well, these guys were real slow drinkers, and by their second round, they'd accumulated over an hour, which settled around their table in a big, beery bubble of time. Because they couldn't go anywhere until it was used up, they challenged each other to a creation contest. The rules were simple. Create the thing that cannot be overcome. Now, because of its inherent dangers, such a contest was actually illegal, but only in universe standard time. Universal laws do not apply inside a bubble of beer. The god went first, and like many gods, he went right for the big budget special effects. Once, began the god, there was a mighty space dragon. Its spine stretched across 100 galaxies. Its eyes glowed brighter than 1,000 suns, and its yawns swallowed 1,000,000 worlds. This glorious dragon, finished the god, could not be overcome. And over their table, that very dragon appeared, dangerously powerful even in its half-imaginary state. The dragon looked at the other contestants, and it yawned hungrily, just waiting for one of them to lose their nerve and believe. But the goddess was not impressed, and she easily picked up the tale. "Oh, but alas, alas," said the goddess, "from across the sea of space there came a storm of hurricane strength. Time itself rose up in huge waves and came crashing down upon the dragon, and with each crash did he age 1,000 years. Soon the poor dragon was nothing but dust scattered between the stars, and the storm raged on. The furious storm could not be overcome. And over their table, that very tempest exploded into being. Powerful waves of time charged across the table and pounded the dragon out of existence, and then kept right on going, right to the edge of the table with no sign of stopping. The other three contestants suddenly found themselves about to share an hour of beer time with 1,000,000 years of storm time. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. The god's hair turned to silver. But, without even blinking a mind, the parallel consciousness being took up the thread. But then, it said, we observed a rip in the very fabric of reality, and through that rip we saw an endless vacuum, which we knew to be nothingness. And the dust of dragon and the waves of time got pulled through the rip and swallowed by nothingness, which we knew, and we know, and now you know, cannot be overcome. And over their table, a little speck of nothingness appeared and began to grow and grow and grow. The dust and the waves were pulled into it and swallowed out of existence in less time than it just took me to tell you. And still the nothingness grew and grew and grew. "Whew," said the god nervously. My, said the goddess, edging away from the table. But they still had one beer left of time to use up before they could leave the table, and the nothingness continued to grow. The parallel consciousness entity chortled goodbye, and then stopped thinking about itself on that plane of existence and was safely gone, and the nothingness reached the edge of the table with no sign of stopping. The god and the goddess joined hands, lifted their chins, and faced their doom, elegant to the end. And at that moment, the storyteller spoke. And then a butterfly appeared, and over the table a butterfly appeared, a little flutter of blue in between three beings and nothingness. The storyteller continued. And then the butterfly turned to the nothingness and said, "Tell me your story." And over the table, the butterfly turned to the nothingness, and it listened to it. But the nothingness just laughed. "I have no story. I am nothing." But the little butterfly continued to listen with such complete interest, with such complete acceptance and love, that the nothingness could not resist the little butterfly's belief that there was something inside it, something worth hearing, and it burst open like a cocoon, and out flew not one, but thousands of stories, like a flickering cloud of butterflies with words for wings. The god and the goddess clapped their hands as the stories broke through the beer bubble and whirled through the bar. The bartender barely had time to say, "Now who let a storyteller in here?" when the stories were through the window, out the door, out this story that I'm telling you right now, and tumbling across the heavens, a river of wing flashes, carrying stories from star to star. And the more the little butterfly listened, the more it heard. The power of listening cannot be overcome.